Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hassan, a candidate for State Senator for the 2nd Suffolk District. I apologize for being late, but as I tried to explain earlier, this really was surprising, sort of abrupt. When you create the schedule, I already had 4 events scheduled for this evening, so I actually had to plug this in because I knew it was important to actually come and address you. I really also have to be ready by 7:30 because I'm really on a tight schedule. But I'll tell you the reason why I'm here, the reason why I'm running. I need your help. It's very simple. I need your help. The district needs your help. There are a lot of shared issues across the district that really, if we could actually sit down and communicate about some things, we can actually solve some of these things. We can actually work on some of these things. Something like public safety, which is a really serious issue for me, and I'm sure it's a serious issue for you. I don't see enough of JP aligning with Roxbury, aligning with Mission Hill, aligning with Beacon Hill, aligning with Back Bay to sort of work on the shared issues in our community. And that's one of the reasons that brought me to this office, to actually run for this office. Because I believe there are issues that if we pull ourselves together, we can work them out. So I'm here to say that, and I'm also here to say, I'm a Bostonian, born and raised here. All my life I've been in this city. I went to school here, went to college away, came back to law school here at Boston College. I'm a product of this environment. I'm a product of the Boston Public School System. I teach in the Boston Public School System. My last assignment was at Boston Latin School. I've been in education for 10 years. So education is exceptionally important to me. Jobs and economic development is important to me. In housing. I was a former homeless person. I came from living on the streets to law school. And I said, here's the difference. I've learned how to take breadcrumbs and make a meal. In our district right now, people are hurting. And when I say they're hurting, I mean they're hurting. People are out of work. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's fine, you can finish the sentence.
People are out of work, and people need help. And that's why I'm really pushing to get some assistance from you, as well as everyone else in this district, so we can actually start solving some of these issues. And thank you very much.
Thank you. You can remain standing, seated, sit at the table, whatever you're comfortable doing. We're asking all the candidates. I think this is one of the most important questions for the upcoming session. We are expecting what is likely to be a $2 billion budget shortfall with some of the federal stimulus money, and it doesn't seem like the budget is catching up to the economic recovery. And so we really like to know sort of your priorities on how you think we can fill that gap, whether it's on the revenue side or with cuts, and if it is cuts, where you think those cuts or where you think the revenue should come.
Good question. Well, first, I think I'm a person who fiscally, I consider myself fiscally conservative. I don't spend what I don't have. So, from that standpoint, I say when I do my budget, I always look to see what am I overspending on. So I think the first thing you want to do to attack the budget is to find where our waste is. And as I heard, you're not going to find $9 billion of waste in there. We might not find $9 billion, but we might find $1 billion in waste with no big contracts. We have a bunch of contracts that are being given to people who, I don't know whether it's earned, they earn the right to get that contract or not, but I know if it's competition, you get a lower price. So right there alone, we're losing money that we can actually gain and capitalize on. I think we need to bring new business to the state of Massachusetts. For instance, there's a group called Boston Major Capital that's trying to bring $500 million into this district, not some other district, into this district to train people on clean coal software. Why not? If it's going to benefit the people in this district, it's going to benefit the district by bringing jobs and bringing educational resources to us. That's some of the things we should be really targeting on. That's actually being tied up in the State House. There are other initiatives, like for instance, what happened in Atlanta, Georgia, and what happened in Michigan, where representatives from the state are actually going out and marketing themselves to companies and bringing the entire company to the state, which brings revenues to the state. I think these are kind of sort of the initiatives that we need to be focusing on to actually create new money to this tight budget that we already have.
And those are some great long-term solutions, absolutely, I think, bringing jobs. But in terms of the fiscal year 2011 budget, we are facing a projected deficit right away. And I don't know if I think all the departments have scoured their budgets. I mean, we're really looking to pin you down a little bit on how you would prioritize as a state senator next year, how we would meet a $2 billion deficit.
Well, for me, priority always goes to those who need it the most. Simply put, the person who's once homeless, I'm making sure that people who need it get it first. So I want to protect all budgets around the most needy people, the elderly, the disabled, homeless people. That's where I would target first. Then the second tier would be those folks who need jobs. How do we actually training programs to them so we can turn the economy around? If we're not training people, we're not going to get an economy that turns. So we need to train people. So those kind of which I would prioritize. Then I would go into the budget and really, since I haven't really had a lot of experience in the budget, I'm a finance major, my degree's in finance, I teach math. That's one of the first things I'm going to do once I enter the State House is go over the budget and sort of talk with individuals who have more experience than I on how they actually did it in the past. There has to be ways that we can sort of go around getting this thing solved. That's kind of what I would do.
So on the response to the expanded gambling question, you talked. Sorry, I don't know if everyone can hear me. You talked about taking casinos out of cities, but you would support them if they were in rural areas. Can you talk a little bit about why you support them and why, in particular, rural areas versus urban areas?
Well, I go to a casino. I'll be a liar if I tell you I'm not a person who will go to a casino. So I went to a casino. I go to Foxwoods once every year and a half. I like the concept of going somewhere we have to go and come back, and there's no lag in between. I don't think casinos will do well around major cities because they sort of suck out the life out of the cities in different respects. For instance, if you have a casino like a Mohegan Sun in Revere, you might lose the Boston Parks because it might transfer to the Mohegan Sun. All things start functioning out of the Mohegan Sun versus functioning out of the, we're a very traditional, a very historical city. So I think we need to protect the history and the culture that we have in this city. So I would not recommend or even really support casinos at our borders. Now I think if you go, I do think there's a component that allows you to have those jobs in separate places. And we do need jobs in this state. So that's really concerning you have to think about. We do need jobs, we do need revenues here, and they will bring revenue and jobs. I just wouldn't support it around cities.
My apologies. It looks like somebody just tried to use that door, and that's why the alarm is going off. Hopefully that will shut off in a minute, so my apologies for that. On the question related to youth violence, you talked a lot about guns, and really talked a lot about sort of federal policy and IRS policy. I'm hoping to maybe talk a little bit more about what you can do as a state senator, and is guns really your priority? Do you think that's the most important issue that's causing you violence?
Well, I don't think guns are the most important issues. I think families are the most important issue. I think that's why I said we need help. We need dialogue across communities that allow us to sort of target and understand really the culture that we have on our streets, the culture of this violence. It's not just someone has a gun and they want to shoot somebody. There's communications and conversations and hurts and ills. We have a bullying bill that we passed in the state of Massachusetts, but we have bullying in communities. We have organizations that bully. So we're really not sending the right message to the kids that we say we want them to follow because we're not following it ourselves. So for me, it takes more than just guns. Guns, there's a phrase, guns don't kill people, people kill people, right? So if we're not getting to those people and have those conversations, and as a teacher, I've had many gang intervention conversations myself, personally, where I've actually sat down with groups of kids who were really about to have a war at our school at Madison Park High School when I taught at Madison Park High School. But we averted that war by sitting people down and having conversations, right? What did they say? And one kid said to me, he said, the clearest thing to me, and I can hear him now, he said, we follow you. We watch what you do. If you all don't work it out, then why are you expecting us to have that standard and we're able to have the communication, these dialogues? So I was like, we need dispute resolution centers. We want to get churches involved in dispute resolution centers in neighborhoods. Because that allows us to get conversations rolling and to get people to understand that you don't go from 0 to death in 4 seconds. There's a process that you've actually been through prior to that. And if we don't address violence, it's very easy for violence to be in your back door very quickly. So that's why we have to have shared conversations. We can't live in a box or a cocoon anymore. Violence is not staying in that box. It's not going to stay in Roxbury. It's not going to stay in Jamaica Plain. It's not going to stay in Massachusetts. It's going to go everywhere. And it is everywhere. Because we're not having conversations that say, let's value our kids. Let's value what they have to say. Let's sit down and listen to them for a change. And let's have a conversation as adults as to what we're doing to drive their thought process in a way that we might even think of. It might be subliminal. It might be just really, really slight things that we are doing that really kids are picking up on. The kids are very intelligent.
So a question, one of the responses in your questionnaire around choice was a little, it seemed a little unclear to us. I wonder if you can clarify a little bit. Do you believe in a woman's right to choose to have an abortion?
Like I said in my response, a woman's right and a child's right to be at equal rights. So we can't just, I'm not going to allow someone to put me in a pigeonhole box and say, well, he's against this or he's for that. I'm saying we still have to have conversations. There's still conversations that need to be had on a much broader scale than just in this room about really how we tackle this to make sure that we're valuing everybody in the process. That's what I said, and I'll leave it the way I put it, because that's really what I believe.
Okay. And on a similar vein, on the equal marriage question, it seemed a little unclear as to where you were in Jamaica Plain. I'm sure you know there are a lot of same-sex couples who I think would like to know very much where you stand on the issue of equal marriage.
And I said earlier, I said gay marriage is a well-settled law in Massachusetts. As an attorney, I understand it as such. And I'm not going to make anyone stand up with a soapbox to change it. But again, I believe in bringing people together and not dividing people. So I'm not going to allow anyone to put me in a box in that respect. Because I'm trying to bring people together. I don't need someone to say, well, here's this. Diversionary tactics is not what I aspire to. I want to bring people together to really solve some issues in this community. And you can't do that by having diversionary tactics. I represent, as a state senator, I'm going to represent every single person in this district, no matter who they are. Whether they vote or don't vote. Whether they have money or don't have money. That's what I plan to do. And I'm not going to do it by dividing people.
Yeah, if it became unsettled law, there are always attempts in every state to take that right away. And while it seems settled now, in 5-10 years it could be unsettled. If it were in front of you as a state senator, how would you vote?
When we get to that point, that's when we'll have that conversation.
Okay, so you're not willing to tell the community how you would vote?
I'm not going to be boxed in. I refuse to be boxed in. I refuse to have division. I mean, I think that's one of the problems. That's clearly a problem in our streets with dividing everybody. Our kids can't walk from one neighborhood to the next. Our adults don't feel safe when they walk out of their house because we're dividing everybody. Everything can't be about division. It has to be about coming together. That's why I say I'm here asking for your help. Because you're an integral, very integral part in us bringing people together. We're progressive, let's progressively bring people together, not separate, bring them together. Because in bringing them together, that's when you have the greatest change. That's when you truly have leadership. That's what our kids look for, that's what our elders want respect and dignity. They're about to lose 40,000 homes with expiring use. We need to come together around that idea and say, hey, how do we help them to make sure they don't get put out? Are disabled but get put out expiring use? How do we come around those issues and say, hey, let's bring it together. Let's help people. Let's not be divisive anymore. Let's not be divergent. Right now, it's settled law. Right now, guess what? We have a chance to bring everyone in this community together across the district. Not just Roxbury, not just Jamaica Plain, not just Mission Hill, but everybody. By bringing people together and having conversations, dialogues, that help us understand what everyone is thinking. Let's sort of narrow it down, let's get a consensus, and let's get some issues solved. That's what I'm here for. That's the only reason I'm here. I'm not running against anybody. I'm running to bring issues to some kind of resolution to help people. Because there's too much hurt on our streets. There are too many people hungry on our streets. There are too many people becoming homeless on our streets. There are too many foreclosures on our streets, driving people into homelessness. I've already been there. I came from there. I'm here before you today to say, listen, we can do this. I'm asking for your help to do it. That's all I'm asking for.